Hey everybody, PT here. Today I'm out at the Salton Sea. In particular, I'm in Bombay Beach. I've been coming to Salton Sea for about 20 years now. I started shooting it in earnest about 15 years ago when I started documenting it because I knew that what was there then would not be there much longer. So I'm going to give you a little tour around here today to show you some of the things that are pretty much gone, but we're about halfway there when I was there. So we'll start over here. This is the origins of Bombay Beach here. And when I first started shooting here, everything here was a structure, although it might have been collapsed or badly damaged. It was still a structure. There's very few remnants of it left here and over on the other side. And a lot of it has been added to by artist installations. And as much as I like the artists and their installations, they do a really great job and it's a lot of fun. That wasn't what made the Salton Sea so great when I started coming. It was a weird place just to begin with, and the story of it was what was interesting. And now it's kind of, with all the artist installation, it's kind of a forced story. And I don't find it as much fun. As you'll see, there are a ton of cars here. So it's a ton of cars, a ton of people. It's turned more into a tourist destination than anything. When I first started coming here, basically it was a pretty scary place. I was about the only one here besides some of the locals, which were some shady characters that wanted to live here. Just a lot of them were fine people. They were fine people, but a lot of them were nice people, but some were pretty strange. So I'm going to take you down towards the water and show you where the water was and where the water is now. Another artist installation over there. But this area here was the kind of little cove beach that was here. And there was a little water break with the pilings in there. Excuse the monster truck. When I first came here, right here, pretty much at my feet, was where the water came up to, maybe a little bit even higher than this. Actually, it was higher than this. And all that was covered with water. Probably the water line probably came up to just before that structure there. That's new artist installation. But it came up to just about there. And this was, all those pilings were about half covered in water. And as you can see, if we look out past it, the water's, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile past this. Even a couple years ago, the water was just past these pilings, but now much further past. It's kind of sad for me because, I mean, this was what started my career, and who knows, maybe this shoot today will be the end of my career, but I liked it the old way. Nobody knew about it, but nothing remains like that, especially in an Instagram age when everything is now discovered. And even videos like this will make people want to come. And so I guess I probably contributed to it because I had some of the early photos of it and some things that only a few photographers knew about, or the old Huell Hauser knew about back on California Gold, which probably was what started me wanting to come out here. But you can see some people have added a couple things to this, how to make it their own. And we'll walk down all the way to the water, and you can see some of the other things that have been installed by artists over I'd say the last couple of years, 3 years or so. They started with an art festival in town, and it's kind of grown from there. Again, like I said, they do some really cool, crazy stuff, but like I said, it's forced, and they're trying to just make it weird instead of just being naturally weird as it was. If you look across the sea, which is California's largest lake, if you look on the other side, to the right of that mountain is where I live. That would be the Anza Desert on the other side. And show you over there, some people stopping at the lemonade stand. Yes, there's an actual lemonade stand there. It's only $1, and I'm really not sure I would buy lemonade from anyone here. And here we are at the Dead Sea Forest. None of these were actually here. People just picked up some plants and stuck them here. Everything you need. Masks and water, and maybe a beer. And we've got a swing set out there. Complete with your own diving board. First one in. It smells like rotten eggs. You can see some of the beautiful green algae here. There's lots of pesticides that the agricultural runoff that the algae flourishes on. But there's still some pretty birds, not as many as there used to be. But I think they're sippets. I think that's the name of their name. But they're pretty cool. As you can see, people even come here a lot of times for photo shoots. Even in the old days when I first started coming here, there were a lot of Hollywood types that would shoot music videos out here. But it's kind of been done a million times, but people still do it. That's a pretty shot, isn't it? I don't know if the sun is blinding you or not. People that know me know about the chairs at the Salton Sea that I've shot a lot of. There are yet more here. Now that some people have moved away, we can move in. Take a better look at this. Seems like nobody likes Queen Anne chairs. I photographed more Queen Anne chairs than anything out here. Not quite a big call for them anymore. Here's a nice one. And this kind of cool sign. If you stand back far enough, you can get the Writing in reverse on it. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. I'm facing into the sun, kind of hard. You can come out here and get your mail too. It's funny, the sea a lot of times look beautifully blue, but it's because it's so still, it reflects the sky above, so you're just seeing the reflection of the sky, you're not actually seeing the color of the water. Over here is monolith. Not sure why it's monolith. I would think it would be bombolith, but I know I don't get to name these things. Another chair. I made sure I wore my Salton Sea shoes so I can throw them away if need be. The great monolith of the Salton Sea and Bombay Beach. Take you down here to one last installation, but I'll cut off recording so you don't have to watch me walk and hear me breathe. Yet another installation out here, kind of cool. Like I said, I really like them, but it's just a different thing, different way to see things. You know, something interesting as we walk along the beach here. It looks like sand or mud or whatever, but really what this is, if I can come over here, maybe you can see it better. Well, it's been pretty ground up by people driving here. But all this is actually ground up barnacles. And maybe when we get down by the water, I can show you better. Can't really see it here. It's been pretty mushed by everything. But barnacles grow in the sea, but the bottom is all sand, so there's nothing for them to adhere to. So they just float in the water, and then they end up on the shore and get washed up. But all this is all barnacles, and it's sticky as can be. And a lot of people get stuck out here, and that's not a good thing. It's very hard to get out of this. And this is the last installation. This one's pretty neat. Yes, I did step out there to get a picture. Let me see if I can do this without getting wet. And S. Shingley Steelworks. This was made 12/20/20, so it's just last year. So I think I'm showing it to you. It's hard to see. I'm looking right into the sun. And this is steps out to a stop sign. Pretty cool. There's a massive sludge filters by. I think you can see it better here, but these are all the barnacles, and that's what makes up the beaches here along the Salton Sea, and they get crushed up and turned into, as my mom would say, miaks. And it's sticky, and in some places it turns into quicksand, which I've gotten caught in. Almost lost a shoe, saved it, but not fun. But you can really see it here, all the barnacles. So that's all of Bombay Beach, and this is actually the old Bombay Beach. I don't know if you can see up there, but there's a I don't know what you want to call it, a dike, that's what you would call it. There's a dike along here, which was built after this area all flooded. I think it was a storm in the 60s or 70s that took out all this, and the water level came up, never went down for a long time. And then they built the dike to protect the houses that are on the other side of that, and that's where the real town is. There's still some people that live there, but most of the houses are abandoned now. And if they are owned by someone, might be an artist or something like that that owns them, or some people that are really poor, because it's kind of a rough life out here. And people that live there don't have much money at all, and they just basically survive out here. So this is just a small part of the Salton Sea. It's a huge lake. I think the road all the way around it is over 100 miles. It'll take you a little while to get around it, and you really can't see it all in one day. This is probably the most famous place, although maybe Salvation Mountain also is, and the slabs. But it's kind of neat. I like some other places that I won't talk about, but I have pictures of. But they're pretty cool. I like them. And there's my favorite place is the Alien Ranch. But when I first started shooting, it was just me and the alien, and there actually was an alien in there at the time, and I'm one of the few people to actually capture it. But the alien is long gone, and the buildings there have been pretty desecrated. I kind of have a hard time going there because some of the pictures I took were some of my favorite and the best, and now it's just a bunch of graffiti. And here's a little friend of mine if you want to say hi to him. He looks mean, but I bet he's really a nice guy. I think that's a space guy. Must have special meaning. train out in the distance. Tons of them go by. One of the major routes to LA cuts up the side of the Salton Sea. Kind of fun if you're a train spotter. There's some big ones, some long ones. Lots of cars going out from Long Beach port out to the rest of the country. Now we're back up the parking lot. All the structures. Oh, I'll go take you to see the boat. There used to be a wooden boat here, and it was pretty cool when it was first brought over here, but then everybody decided they would graffiti it, and it was painted half dozen times, different things. Wasn't as nice as it was when it was first here, but then of course somebody decided that they would burn it to the ground, and I have some photos of that I've shown on Instagram of it. And then that metal artist that I talked about earlier, he decided he would rebuild it in metal so it couldn't be burned to the ground, but he hasn't gotten that far on it. I'm sure it's a hard project, but you can see the remnants of where it burned out here. Maybe he's not going to go any further. Maybe he's going to keep it both just to show where it was and where it burned. But here we are, and we have a giant group of aliens with us today. Looking good, all sparkly. But that's it. Sun's gonna set maybe an hour, and that was my day out here. It was fun. Had a good time. Wasn't sure what it would be like, but it was still fun. I still enjoyed it. And that's Bombay Beach at the Salton Sea. And I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye. It looks like frolicking aliens to me. This is the remnants of an old trailer. That's the most you'll see that's left of this part on the one side of the dike. Then I'm taking you on the other side to show you the little city, little town of Bombay Beach. There were more houses in here. A lot of them have been torn down, but you can see some people are still living in them. They're pretty much shacks. It's a new power station and pump station. There's Bombay Estates, which is an artist concept over there too. This is the drive-in